I think I have to take.
Here we are. We're live. I think we're live. Yes.
We are.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Happy Monday morning. Welcome to
Good morning.
the morning talk show with Tina and Angel.
We have a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but it's okay. You're giving us grace, right?
I know. I always tell people, thank you for your patience and thank you for your grace as we figure out technology.
Exactly.
Of course, Zoom has been changing rapidly. Facebook Live and the producer has been changing rapidly. And so every time I go into it, I feel like I have to learn something new. But it's Monday morning. Happy Monday. How was your weekend, ladies? Tina, how was your weekend?
Girl, I did not take a shower. I did not put makeup on. Well, I think I did take a shower once, but I didn't put makeup on. I didn't get dressed. I didn't want to do nothing. I was so tired and so exhausted from my week.
You're like, I didn't take a shower. I didn't put makeup on. I didn't get dressed. It was the best.
It was the best. And listen, and you guys know I'm a high maintenance person. So. And then I woke up this morning like at 4 o'clock with alarms going off, the sirens going off, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorms. It was like,
welcome to Monday.
Right? Welcome to Monday. It's been snowing here in Denver for 2 days. It's beautiful. I mean, it's pretty because I don't have to drive in it, right? We don't have to go anywhere, but it's winter again. And I keep hoping it'll be spring.
How long does it snow there?
How often does it snow?
No, how long? Till like March, right?
So this is May.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, May.
So note to self, do not move to Denver.
Do not move to Denver, right? Yeah. Because in pretty much our winter is February to May.
Oh, wow.
It's February to May. And it mixes in. It's like ADD. I want to be spring. No, I want to be winter. No, I want to be spring. No, I want to be winter. Yeah. And so
Mother Nature's a little bipolar.
A lot. Okay, Cheryl.
What about you ladies?
How was your weekend?
Well, it was a weekend in coronavirus lockdown, so home. We're getting a little tired of the rain here in San Diego. We had more rain last week. We had half of our normal annual rain just last week.
Wow. You had half of your rain for the year.
We had half our rain, and so things were we heard about things getting flooded, and when you live in San Diego, if it's below 70 or above 75, it's either too hot or too cold. We complain. And we've had rain, and the only thing we can do is go out and take a dang walk. So just let us go take a walk here. Just stop.
And it doesn't ever rain in San Diego. Like,
no, but it has not.
The song "It Never Rains in Southern California" is like, seriously, it doesn't.
But it has not stopped. Weird. So it's kind of like, I don't know if the world is sad about this whole coronavirus thing, or it's trying to wash it away, or what. But it's been very weird.
It's probably all of that. It's sad. It's washing it away, and it's telling you to stay inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Cheryl?
Oh, I had a great weekend, nice and quiet. We're in South Florida, and it's funny because I've lived in Colorado. I lived in Grand Junction, so I totally know what you're talking about, Angel. And I spent my junior high and high school years in San Diego. So it's so much I can relate to what you guys are talking about. But everywhere you go, there's something, right? And so here it's been really warm. I mean, it's been high 80s, but it's great because having to stay in, I have a nice patio and live on a lake. And so, one of those big retention ponds. And so, I was talking about how all the birds are coming back, and it's really interesting to see how everything's realigning. Mm-hmm. And so it's so interesting. I did a Facebook Live in my own group and talked about that, because I think we are making changes, Angel, just like what you said. It's really a little bit, it's kind of eerie unless you just go with the flow. And I guess what I've learned over the last couple of weeks is that it's evolving, right? And it's going to be what it's going to be. But I noticed there's so many more birds and so much more, I don't know, wildlife and all that. It's really kind of an interesting change I see.
Cheryl, where did you grow up in San Diego?
Well, so I was born in Hollywood, California, and then I lived in LA until and then I went to junior high and high school in San Diego, and we lived in Claremont.
In Claremont? So you went to Claremont High School?
I went to Madison High.
Okay. See, I grew up in La Jolla, so I went to La Jolla High School.
Yeah, well, we used to, and I always say that's funny. I learned to surf at Black's Beach, and my first job ever was in Sorrento Valley when it was like a 2-lane highway. Wow. I've been there like last year, and it's not a 2-lane highway anymore.
And it's funny because all 4 of us met
In San
last
Diego.
October
Diego.
in San Diego at a big
Crazy,
event that
right?
we were all speaking at.
You know, comes back around.
Right?
It comes back around. How crazy, right? The last time we were all together, the only time we've all been together.
Yes.
Nate was at an event in San Diego.
Yep.
You know, back in the day when people were allowed to get together,
Oh my
and
gosh.
Way back when.
way back when.
Don't we
Doesn't
miss
it
that
feel
right
like
now?
forever though?
Yeah, it does.
I feel like it's been years, but it's only
Yes.
been like 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
It's
my
crazy.
family is here. We've been quarantining together. The girls have been here for about 3 weeks, but they're leaving. They're going to go back home.
When
back
do they
to
leave?
Florida. The end of this week. The end of this week, because they're moving. They're moving at their apartment lease ends at the end of this month in Florida, and they've got a new one that they're planning to move into. Yeah, so they have to go back, and I'm sad. I woke up this weekend, right, not having to get all dolled up. Like, we're getting so dolled up now, right? I haven't worn pants that have other than elastic waist pants for.
And we have our hoodies on. I saw that.
Right. Yep. Right. We're all cozy, which is really nice. Although it's so funny because I do watch people get like all dressed up. Like the whole thing. But we all know you're home. It's okay. Like, I think we can give ourselves a little bit of grace right now. But I was saying to them, it's been 3 weeks. And I've been working. I just feel like I've been working so much during this 3 weeks, which I'm blessed like to be able to do that. But I don't know. It's like, I think I just want to take some time and do nothing and just relax and like do some projects around the house. We've done some.
So are you going to be able to do that this week?
Oh, not this week. Not this week. I did
Because
schedule.
we're talking on a summit today.
I know.
Tomorrow is our Connect to Summit.
Because it's Summit Week, right?
Yeah.
Summit on Unite Summit today, Connect Summit tomorrow. I have 3 summits I'm speaking on Thursday. 3. On one day, right?
So you're not an overachiever at all.
Wow, I felt accomplished that like I organized a couple cabinets this weekend. I felt like really accomplished, but look at you.
Oh
Look at
no,
you know where my knives, forks, and spoons are now, but that's nothing.
That's funny. Yeah, I've got radio
April
interviews
has been
too.
out of her office. In fact, she told us last week her husband had to kidnap her and take her on a convertible picnic for only 30 minutes.
He did. He came into the office and he made me move some things around. He's like, give me 30 minutes for lunch. And he's like, when will you have 30 minutes? It's like next week. And he's like, no, you need lunch. Take a 30-minute break.
You need 30 minutes today. What time?
So then I go out and he takes me to the garage and puts me in the car, and he had the picnic lunch all in the car. We drove around in the convertible for 30 minutes before I had to get back. But
and it wasn't snowing then, right?
It was a beautiful day that day. It was a beautiful day.
See, so glad you took the time.
Yeah, I know, right? He's so funny. It's good to have people watching out for you. Okay, so Cheryl, what's been like your favorite part of the quarantine?
Well, I have to say that after I got over the original sort of, panic of the whole thing and realizing that this was a life or death thing for a lot of people, for all of us actually, and to take it seriously, after I kind of like got over all of that, I just really decided to settle into it and realized I wasn't in control of anything. And I just decided, I started calling it my Q-cation. And so I said, what am I going to do with my quarantine vacation here? And so I've actually been doing a lot of like diving into topics that I've been wanting to do. I've been really active in my groups. I've got like 6 or 8 interviews booked over the next 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I know. And I'm having so much fun with it, Angel. And so I'm really excited. This is my first one, my kickoff one. But I'm I'm going to be pretty busy over the next couple weeks. And I'm just really deciding that I'm going to make the best of it. I'm reaching out to people I haven't talked to for a while. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's just, I'm kind of, and then I read today that it could be like an 18-month rolling thing. And I'm just, part of me goes, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. And the other part says, well, you can't do anything about it, So So I'm going to take my lunch breaks going and visiting my horse and petting her and doing that like you did with your husband and your convertible. I'm going to take 30 minutes and go do that. And then just, I think I loved what you said the other day on the show, which I thought was so interesting, Angel, was that you said something like, it's really easy now to work 12 hours a day. You and Tina were talking about how you used to have time in the airport and you'd have a, you know, have lunch, have a drink, whatever. And now it's like, we can be working all the time.
Yeah.
And I really said to myself, yeah, was I doing that? And I kind of was. So I said, okay, I'm going to start taking breaks like you talked about. And, but I'm really enjoying the heck out of it, honestly, although, you know, it has its restrictions and all that, but I have a nice patio to work on. And I'm just, it's really just realigning. It's just adapting. And if we fight it, it's going to be way harder than if we just go with the flow. And so I'm trying really hard to let that happen.
I like that. I like that you turned it around and made something positive out of it, right? But I think Angel and I too, we are so busy, but we're getting so much more accomplished.
That's what I'm saying too. It's so easy to get stuff accomplished now. You're not distracted.
You don't have to stop and pack and, you know, go across the world to, you know, speak and then come back and unpack. You're just always there.
I was saying on my Facebook Live the other day, I said, we're not getting our hair done, our nails done, no lashes, you know, no facials, no massages, all that stuff that you have to go out of the house for. And so I was laughing and saying, you know, but when I run out of makeup, we're going to audio, no more video. That's it.
But
here's what Angel was saying.
I was thinking that, like, but we're all going a little more natural, right? Just a little bit more. I was looking at my lashes this morning, and here's this thought that I had.
Yeah.
I wonder if I really need to have those anymore. Like, I actually had this thought. I did. Like, I wonder if I really need them anymore. I've had them for years.
Me too.
And so
mine are gone. My nails are done.
My nails are gone too.
Well, my nails are hanging
out.
That's
what I'm like. My nails are gone too.
Oh. Okay, so Patti, what's been your favorite thing about the quarantine?
Surprisingly, you know, I'm one of these girls that's the most social girl, you know. I entertain a lot. You know, it's not unusual for me to have 5 or 6 events at my house in a month minimum. And so I thought I would be stir crazy immediately. I can't tell you, if I stay home 2 days a year, it's rare. And so I would think I'd be the first one that was, you know, cabin fever. But I have really enjoyed the time to catch up the things that I always say, oh, when I have time, I'm going to do this. You know, when I have time, I'm going to do that. And I still have a lot more I could be doing, you know, a lot of things to be organized.
A lot more drawers to organize, right?
Yeah, a lot more. And, you know, my sisters and my niece and even my daughter, they're all like just naturally organized. They never have a mess. But I'm always so busy and on the fly that I just kind of throw and go. And that's why I have to entertain a lot or they'd condemn my house. I have to keep the visual, you know, the press people see good. So, so it's been fun for me to kind of take the time to organize things and to not be rushing. And I've even backed off with a lot of the business stuff. Like people have said, hey, we're doing this business thing online. And I said, you know, while we're not doing all this, I don't want to fill my days up with all the running I did and do running at home. Instead, I've just kind of been, I realized how much I love my house we bought 2.5 years ago. It's a perfect house for us. And my one daughter
finally fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved it, but it's like, it's great in these circumstances too. And, you know, my man, we're supposed to get married in July. We'll see what happens here with this whole situation. But, you know, I realized, you know, we're here 24/7 and it's just us and my one daughter staying with us during this, but it's just great. And so I just realized that, you know, all the things that I know I love them even more. So that's been great.
I love that we're bringing it back to like the old school, you know, like we're spending all that family time together. We're doing all the family dinners, all that stuff. And we're just able to breathe again and able to be us on purpose. Right.
Yeah, totally. It feels great. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, we're not rushing around, you know, like we used to, even though, you know, we're doing, you know, I feel like I have my teleporting machine, right? Like, cause I just go from one event to the next and one meeting, I'm at a birthday party, I'm at a networking event, I'm at my board meeting, right? We're just like have this little teleporting machine.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're right. Like we can't control it. And so how do we make the best of it? How do we make the most of it? I think I'm going to be sad when it's over. maybe
Right?
a little bit.
Can we have another quarantine?
It doesn't have to go back to exactly the way it was. I think we just get to make a lot of shifts and a lot of changes and design it to what we want it to look like in many ways, right?
And I agree with you, Angel. And I think I've learned through this. I know you guys travel and speak a lot, and so do I. And it's like I've learned that we really can do a lot more from home without having to be gone and having to travel and having to, have all of that goes along with that, the expense, the stress of flights being delayed or whatever like that. And, we can just maybe take it a little slower and take it a little, just maybe when I say easier, I mean like, less stress in a way, not take it easier as far as not doing it.
When we're doing our summits too, there's so many more people on the summits because they can come now. They don't have to get a babysitter or, anything like that. They can jump on.
Attendance is higher at our events, right? Even though they're virtual, participation is higher. The connection is, is greater than it's been. We did our family did a little Easter gathering on Zoom yesterday. Yeah. And we're from all across the country, right? We all hung out for a while. Yeah, I think there's always fun stuff, right? Of course, it does have its challenges, but we're entrepreneurs.
Yes, we deal with
learn how to pivot very quickly.
Right.
Don't you wonder what will happen? Like I see such a difference in my neighborhood of more people walking their dogs. You always saw the same 5 people with their dogs, but now you see all these other people, and I wonder where those dogs are ever being walked. But you see people out with their children and people walking and people in their front yards. And I can't help but think that when this is over, there's going to be a number of parents that say to their job, number one, I was very productive at home. There's no reason for me to commute to this office through traffic every day. And I enjoyed being home in time to have dinner with my kids rather than rushing and pulling through McDonald's. I think it's going to be a real reset on families because I see these families just enjoying their children so much right now that I don't think ever got to know their children. They hardly saw their children in waking hours, and when they did, it was such
or their spouse.
Yeah,
or their spouse, right? Yes.
I'm sure there's some that don't want to see as much of their spouses, but I'm glad I'm not one of them.
No, me neither. I'm fine with that. I've done a piece too about homeschooling because I see so many moms that, my daughters, I have 4 grandkids. So my older daughter has 3 kids now in homeschool, which she never had before. But, when I lived in Grand Junction, my daughter, she was in 7th grade and she started to some of the kids she was hanging around with weren't that great and whatever. And so I decided I was going to homeschool her for a year. And I always like to say that I knew she was it was going to be the best year of our lives, or she was going to run away and join a band of gypsies or something because she was going to totally rebel. But actually it turned out to be the best year of our lives. And so I keep telling moms, these young, moms, like I wasn't the best homeschooling mom, but it's the time with your children and it's the time that you actually connect. And, I take every Wednesday afternoon off to go do homework with my grandkids because I want to know what they're learning. Yeah. But as a mom, it's kind of hard because you have so many things to juggle. But I think you're right. What you're saying is just that this is a time where we're going to kind of reevaluate, what is really important and, how do our relationships mesh into our whole lives? And maybe they did get pushed to the side. Yeah. So I think it might be a really great time for the American family. And I think, we'll see what happens, but I think there could be lots of good that comes from it.
Yeah. Well, one of the good things is Angel and Tina's morning talk show, right? They came out of it. Like, hey, let's do this while we're quarantining and see.
I love it. Yeah, I had a friend of mine post on Friday that her kids, she said, I don't think wrestling for PE was such a good idea. And she posted a picture with her son have a big black eye. She's like, I don't think I'm cut out to be the teacher.
Oh, no.
I just thought it was so funny that, because they still try to do PE and recess and...
Yeah, my friend, her daughter was upset the first day because it didn't go well, and she's like, well, how can I make it better? She says, we didn't have snack. And
that's easy
to
fix.
She's like, you could have snack anytime you want, like snacks always available, right? But no, we actually have to have official snack time during the day.
That's so funny. As long as you keep your schedule, I think you'll be okay.
Right?
We didn't have recess. And so I asked my friend, I said, which one of them got suspended from school? For fighting.
The teacher did. All right. Well,
Yeah,
let's get to meet our guests. We're going to start with Patti. She's actually going to teach us how to live a royal life. And now, how do we live a royal life even while living at home will be super fun to learn about.
Right.
Patti Phillips, a resident of the San Diego area for 40 years, mom of 3 adult children. She lives with Prince Charming. He goes by the name of Dawn, so not to confuse people. She is known as the queen of damn near everything. She wears many diverse, fun, and creative hats. She's an author, artist, comedian, realtor, speaker, serial entrepreneur, wedding officiant, and blogger. I think the queen of everything, damn near everything, probably is absolutely perfect. Not only is she all that in a bag of chips, but she's a heck of a nice person and a lot of fun to be around, living her best life with integrity to the fullest while experiencing the most fun possible is Patti's passion. She feels that many women put themselves, their needs, their dreams, their goals last, which is what we've kind of been talking about this morning. And she is out to change that by teaching others how to live a royal life. Patti, welcome.
I think that was one of the most funnest bios I've heard.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's
so
so fun to be here with you two ladies this morning. It really is.
I am so glad. I know we met and you're super fun. You've got this great, dynamic personality, magnetic personality, the way you dress, and you really do walk your talk and you really do walk your brand. And so even right now, like, you are having to adapt, right? How you're connecting with people, living that royal life. So as the queen of damn near everything, you've put so much of that on hold while you've been home. Talk about that shift.
I have, it's just been a shift because, like I said, I run. I'm always involved in all kinds of things. I kind of have that theory, if you're going to be involved in a group, you might as well run it and be the president of it. So that's kind of how I'm usually on a bunch of boards and this, that, and the other. And a lot of that stuff has been put on hold, as you all know. So I think that's okay, though. Like I said, I'm just enjoying the time of kind of not doing so much. This is the first one I've had to get up early and set an alarm, make sure I was awake for something and, look like a person. But, it's just okay to do what you do. And I just had started probably in the past year to learn that I don't have to accomplish something all the time. And it's kind of good that I started moving into that before this, because there's been a few days like yesterday, I just kind of lounged around and crawled back in bed and was just kind of on my phone and looking at, Instagram and stuff, and didn't do anything for hours, which I couldn't have done that a year and a half, 2 years ago. So it's good that I kind of started giving myself permission to not be as busy. And so I'm enjoying it. I really am.
So what is one of your favorite things that you do out of your whole list of damn near everything things that you can do? What is one of your favorite things that you do?
My comedy. I love doing stand-up. It's fun. It's fun to, make people laugh and to see an audience engage and have people tell me later, oh my gosh, that was the funniest story. I'll never forget when you said this or that. That's what I love, is comedy.
Oh, I love
How often do you get to do that?
I don't do it as often as I used to. The problem is I do my own shows. I don't go to, say, the Comedy Store, this or that, because it's kind of an old boys club and I just a long story. So I started doing my own shows maybe, 6 years ago or 7. And I need kind of a place that's got your own room, like a restaurant with a back room. And I had that for a while. So I would do a show just like every other month. And it's fun because it's almost like a big group of friends, because 80% of the people I either know or they're somebody who brings friends. And so it's always fun. I would always sell out. And then that restaurant went out, and a lot of the restaurants with private rooms now, their big thing is you have to have a big minimum, and they only want to put it on one bill. So it's hard to put together an event like this. So I'm not doing it as often. I'm doing it once every few months, just depending on where I can find. But I would love to do it. I would love to find a place that I could call home and do it every month or every other month. Would be fun.
That would be fun. And it has been like a shift in venues, right? I think a lot of us used to host events. It was different. You could go in, they were super friendly and accommodating. It does get harder. And even now, right? As we're shifting, I don't think the travel industry will ever be the same, because we're realizing we don't have to hustle. We don't have to commute and go all across the country or across even town to get as much done. But so a royal life, how did you come up with the concept of living a royal life? Is there royalty in your blood, or are you just
I started out years ago. I went by the comedy queen. That just, I don't know, came around when I started doing comedy. And then I had an assistant with my real estate, kind of a young millennial. And she would, come to help, and she'd listen to me and watch and say, you're involved in this and you're involved in that and you do this. And I invited her to one of my fun little parties I had. And she said, I just didn't even know people really did stuff like this. And she goes, you just like do everything. She goes, you're like Martha Stewart, you know how to cook, you do everything. She goes, you need to have a blog. And I went, yeah, I do. So out of that came, she goes, you're like the queen of damn near everything. And so that's how that came about. So with that, as we discussed, I think so many women put themselves on the back burner. They take care of the kids and the husband and the career and the house. And I would talk to gals all the time. I go, you have such a fun life. I wish I could do what you do, but I just don't have time to go with my girlfriends anywhere. I don't have time. And I'm like, oh, honey, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
have
don't
to
put
make
yourself,
time.
huh?
You need to make time for that.
Yeah. And that's why I always say, you got to schedule it. The example I use with young moms is, spontaneous sex when you have young kids at home usually doesn't happen. You got to say to your husband, look, Thursday night, we're putting the kids in bed, right? And it's the same with fun for women. You've got to schedule it. And if you don't make that your priority, it will never happen.
Yeah.
We make our nail appointments, right? When we're out in the real world, we make our hair appointments, and you need to schedule time with to do fun things with girlfriends and whatever. So that's what I consider living a royal life, that you have to start there. And from there, the happier you are with yourself and the more fun you have, I think the better life you're going to have.
Most definitely.
Patti, I think one of the things that we put everything else first, like you do, right? We put all these other appointments, all this on the calendar, and we're doing so much for other people, but really giving ourselves permission to what makes me happy, what do I want, what brings me joy, is something that I think really you need a girlfriend. You almost need somebody to pull you out of that, to remind you that you are a happy person. You do like doing fun things. Let's put those on the calendar. Let's schedule some of those in, and that it's okay. But we just get ourselves in this just doing for others for so long that we're no longer the queen, we're no longer the princess, we're like the Cinderella, right? Just scrubbing everything. We need to put on our Cinderella dress, right, sometimes, and just transform.
I know when I lived in Savannah, I have a best friend who lives in Savannah, and her and I used to have a BFF day, and we would start early in the morning, and we would have breakfast at Cracker Barrel, we would go out shopping, and we would just have a bestie day. And I think you need that. Mm. You need to have that. You need to schedule that.
What is the biggest challenge when you're working with your clients, Patti, that like, what's their biggest holdup or hang up keeping them from stepping into that?
I think that one thing is women, I think you get in a habit of just doing everything for everyone. And I think a lot of times they think they don't deserve it, or that it's just impossible. And kind of what started my whole journey is I was in a marriage with, I won't use the word I usually use, but the financial screw up I was in this marriage with. And life was terrible. And I was working literally 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I mean, I remember one time, 100 straight days, I didn't take a day off. And when I got out of that marriage, I stopped and I thought, I never want to live like this again. I never want to be constantly waking up with panic attacks about, overdrawn accounts and how do I pay the mortgage. So I sat down and I thought, what do I do to change my life? And that's what I have to do with women is I go, okay, number one, we need to look at what do you want in life? Make that bucket list and how do you achieve it? And you have to do it one step at a time. And that's what I did myself is I made that bucket list. And it was kind of cool because I went from being a few $100,000 in debt from this man and having a credit score of 420 and having no credit cards, no anything, and stepping out on my own as a realtor in 2008 when the market was awful. And within less than a year, I remember hearing that song. There's a country song that says she let herself go. And it said she went to Honolulu and she went to a week at the spa and she went to New York City. And I went, I've done every one of those this past year and a half. I did that. That song is me. And I did let myself go, and I changed my life totally. And so if I did that in those circumstances, so can other people. And so you have to look at what's important, and don't look at just, oh, this is, life is a struggle. How do you get out of that struggle? So it's just one little step at a time.
Patti, what are a couple of tips that you can give some people who may be in that kind of situation that you were in, still, so many years ago? What would you give them? What kind of tips would you give them?
Exactly that you need to sit down, make a list of, if life were perfect, what would you want it to look like? And what are the things that you've never done that you would love to do, that they could seem so outrageous? Do you want to jump out of an airplane? Do you want to ski the Alps? What do you want to do? Put those down, and then one thing at a time, focus on how could you do that? How would that be possible to make that work? If you're just living this life with this marriage that, you're kind of stuck in, there's some sort of saying that about like 95% of what you worry about never happens, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of women go, oh, I'm so unhappy. I know a gal, I've known her for 15 years through business things, and all she talks about is how unhappy she is in her marriage. And I go, every time I see her, I go, then why don't you get out? Because I'm scared. What's the worst that's going to happen? What is the worst that's going to happen if you step out? And, so that's the thing, is you've got to look at what would be the worst case scenario. Probably nothing as bad as what you're picturing. Mm-hmm. And how do you move on and get that life you want? Because I keep saying to her, honey, you could wake up dead tomorrow, and all you've done for 15 years is talk about how unhappy you are. Yeah. So how do we get happy?
It's like this, we're scared, right? It's the scared of the unknown. We've heard that, this is familiar. I know what to expect, even though I hate it and it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's familiar. And I think we've all found ourselves in a job or in a relationship, right? In a situation where we just stay there. And then, but we've all read the stories. We've all heard other people's stories of, how much better it was, right? When they left and when they broke free, and how much they wish they would have made that change mm-hmm. even sooner. Very few people regret getting out of a sucky situation, right? Right. They're right. Always happier. And so, even finding those people that can support you and encourage you and, just brainstorm and give you ideas and help you.
Finding your tribe.
Yeah, find your tribe. Girlfriends. Absolutely. Yeah.
So Patti, what kind of freebie, what kind of thing can you give our viewers today?
I can give them send them a little thing I've written up on 10 steps on how to live a royal life, and to start that process of making that life what you want, making it your dream life.
And how do they get that?
They can go to my website, which is thequeenofdamneareverything.com. And they can ask for it on there.
I love that title.
Do you have a book? Do you have a book out, Patti?
I was involved in a book that just came out in October, and I had one chapter in that book.
Yeah.
But I am right now working on a whole book called Living a Royal Life. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon.
I love it. So, say your website again.
thequeenofdamneareverything.com.
Okay. And I
have a blog there. I'd love them to go read and subscribe. I'm just started last week a new series called Woman Crush Wednesday. So I'm going to be writing about a woman every week that I know, and just kind of, feature women that are strong and neat and a lot of fun.
I love that.
I love that. Well, Patti, this has been fun. I'm so glad we've been able to reconnect. And just, I love what you're doing with your quarantine. I think that it's just so perfect that the woman who is the queen of almost everything, right, has realized that even in being the queen, it's okay to not have to do everything. Yeah. You can be good at it, but you don't have to do it all, and you don't always have to be running. And I think that's a beautiful lesson.
I love it. Well, stick around, Patti. We're going to have Cheryl on next, but stick around.
Thanks,
we'd love to have you in our conversation.
So great to be here. Thank you, ladies.
We're so excited. All right, so we have Cheryl Fields, an entrepreneur for over 35 years. And when life took a turn, she basically had to start over. And she realized that even though she knew how business worked, she didn't realize how money worked. So she decided to become a financial advisor. She was hired by a global investment firm and in 2007. And then, of course, there was the crash in 2008. She realized there had to be a better way. So she began interviewing wealthy people, found out there were strategies and resources that they had been using for over 100 years. As a former insider, she pulls back the curtain on Wall Street and she teaches Americans what really works. And although she's been highly paid to speak at industry events, her heart is in financial education, helping people understand and implement the strategies that increase cash flow in their lives, give them tax-free income in retirement, and leave a legacy for those that she loves. She's a wife, a mother of 2, grandmother of 4, and loves riding her horses on her horse on the trails where she lives in South Florida. Cheryl, welcome to our morning.
Hi, Tina. Hi, it's great to be here. Well, I feel like this is just such a segue because as I mentioned there, when life took a turn, that was actually in Savannah, Georgia. And I was hired by Gulfstream Aerospace as a consultant for a year, and I got in a relationship there. And it ended up to be a terrible relationship.
And what I think we had this conversation.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny because I had forgotten that you were in Savannah too.
Yes.
And so my daughters called me one day, and they were living in Maine. They were grown, and they said, "Mom, we're really scared for you, and we want you home." And they said, "We booked a ticket for you on flight 646 in the morning, and booked a hotel room for you. We've got a police escort, and we want you home." And so I walked, my life passed before me right then. And I said, how could I ever look at my girls in the eye again if something happened? And so I knew they were right. I thought I was hiding it, right? It was only for a couple of years, but the thing is, it just eats away at you. Every day they eat it. And I'd always been a kick-ass entrepreneur, a single mom. I'd bootstrap businesses all across the country. And I thought to myself, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. And so I picked up what I could carry. I stuffed it in a suitcase. I grabbed my dog, put him on a leash, and I walked out the front door and went to Forsyth Park and sat on the bench where Tom Hanks sat when they filmed the movie Forrest Gump. Mm-hmm. And he said, life's like a box of chocolates. And so there I sat and I said, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And that's when I decided to become a financial advisor. I realized money had to work for me quickly. And it's absolutely, as much as I thought my life was basically over at that point, it was only the beginning of the best part of my life. And so for the last 10 years, I thought about, wealthy people. So after I got out of the whole financial advisor thing and I saw it crash, I said to myself, wait, what do wealthy people do? Because they always have time and money, and not only enough money for their lives, but they have enough to pass on. And none of that stuff came up in financial advising. So that's what really pivoted. And I just want to encourage women, like you were talking about being scared and being stuck, and it's I was scared and stuck too, but the best part of your life is on the other side of that. We're never called to hold our light under a bushel. We're supposed to stand up, and a little bit of light, a little bit of encouragement really disperses all of the fear and darkness if we just take the first step. And of course, I probably wouldn't have told you that day on the park bench. I probably would have told you something totally different. But in looking back 13 years ago, and I mean, now we've seen another crash, and I've had my best months ever because I've been helping more people than ever. I have a whole team with me now, and I'm just so thankful that I can help educate people and help them be able to, not have this cycle in their lives like I had it in mine.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, right now, I think people are so concerned about finances, right? Income, the market, the industries, the marketplace, the economy. There's so much concern over money and finances, wealth. What are some of the things that you are teaching right now, talking people off the fence, giving them light? What I know it does seem like it's really dark. How are you putting that little bit of light into people's lives right now, Cheryl?
Well, so what I have been teaching, and I've been teaching people a lot of different things over the last 10 years. But what I'm talking about right now, and I think the main where I haven't always worked with people in corporate, but now with 13 or 16 million people laid off, and they don't know if they're going back. They don't know if they have a job. They don't know if they're going to go back to the same company or a different company. Are they going to work from home or whatever? And are the businesses going to be open? Because as they talk about this, rolling, recovery. I mean, what does that even mean? And so I've been helping lots of people in corporate. And what I teach them is, see, we can take the resources that we've saved, like our 401k and our IRA. And what I've been teaching over the last few years is that the system is broken. And that's why every 10 years the market crashes, they scoop off all the money off the top. And then we say, oh, the market's coming back. But there's no reason that we ever have to let our accounts go backwards. Wealthy people don't do that. They're always moving their accounts forward. And so I teach tax-free strategies, and that's what a lot of my talks have been about. But now I'm actually helping people that have some resources, wherever they have it, in an IRA, 401k, or whatever. I've been helping them take that and get it so that they can actually use it, not only for their lifestyle right now, but for their business if they want to maybe start a side hustle. And I help them get that going without blowing up their retirement. And so, it's strategies that have been around for 100 years, and I love to teach them and help people implement them. And one thing that I feel great about is I do talk about how fees rob you of 40% of your wealth in these accounts and in the mutual funds that most people use. And so as I was developing my business 10 years ago, I realized that it would not be, if I was going to talk about how fees rob you of your wealth, there's no way that I could ever feel right about charging my clients for what I do for them. So I feel great that I'm able to help them and implement these strategies, and all of their money stays their money. I get paid by the companies where I have agreements, and I can actually implement the strategies in the exact way they need to be implemented.
Cheryl, what would you say to some of those people who are living paycheck to paycheck and who have very, very little income coming in?
It's a very tough time for that. And again, if there are resources they have, they can start to use those in a really smart way. You don't just want to go borrow against it. That's the most expensive money, and it will eat the center out of all of that. But there are government programs right now. There's unemployment right now. I know for the business owner, it is it's difficult because they're saying that there's these the PPP and those different programs, but I don't know a lot of people that have actually gotten the checks, and so it's great to know that they're there, but it may not be very it may not be very quick in coming. And there's a lot of, for big corporations, there's also really great assets to hopefully let them keep their employees. But a lot of corporations are just not willing to, it's too nebulous out there. We don't know. It's great that here's the other thing. Are we going to just continue to let this happen to us? I don't want to see people living paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have to if they just use a system and strategies that actually help them build their future instead of living paycheck to paycheck. So we have strategies to help people get out of debt really quickly. And then we really believe that tax-free is the way to go. And so, we've just done another $2 trillion in government funding. Where do government doesn't make it or do anything to create wealth. They only take from people who work. And we're sitting on a tax time bomb right now. So even if you have money, even if you're not struggling right now, are you going to be willing to put, your 50-60% of your, the money you make to taxes? Because historically, that's what the government has done when they get their checkbook out of balance, which is way, way out of balance now.
So Cheryl, was that one of your biggest ahas? Like when you were interviewing and figuring out like what were the strategies? Was it around the taxes? Was that like your biggest oh my gosh, I've got to go and teach this?
Yes, absolutely. It's about tax-free. So the current system benefits the banks, the IRS, and Wall Street, not necessarily the American investor. And I have a signature talk that I do called Your Path to Prosperity. I have a group called Prosperity Seekers, and we talk about that in there. And so it's a free Facebook group. But yeah, that's the biggest aha, because like Albert Einstein said, uninterrupted compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And that's not what happens in these other accounts. And so we dive deep into that, and we talk about like why it's broken. And when I do my presentation, people always tell me, which I love, they say, I've never heard it sound this simple before. And how could I even be doing that? Am I doing that? And I'm like, well, let me see. Oh yeah, you are. That's what you're doing. So we just help them really see a simple way that they can get on a path to building wealth. And right now we are recouping, we are going to have to dig ourselves out of this hole. And I think a lot of people are going to be going into debt or going to be finding ways that they can make it through. And so I love to be a part of the solution. And like I told you, what the wealthy do is they increase the cash flow in their lives at times like this. and without interrupting their tax-free income in retirement. And so, yeah, we're really excited about that. And that was the big aha, is that 100 years ago when they started the IRS and a way for people to pay lots of tax, they also started another system where you didn't have to pay tax at all. And so the big lie that we've been led to believe is that if we take money out of our 401ks and IRAs in retirement, most people don't know, and they haven't been told by their financial advisors, which I'm wondering why, is that all of their Social Security becomes taxable. So let's just say, and I could go into the details, but just to give you the cliff notes, if it costs you $10,000 a year in tax, that's $100,000 in your first 10 years of retirement. And that's $200,000 if we live 20 years. Wouldn't you rather have that money? And if that money doubles and triples for you over that time in a tax-free account, you keep all your Social Security, you keep all that money, and we can actually add hundreds of thousands of dollars to people's life and retirement in a tax-free way. And we just use insurance companies instead of banks. So it's nothing offshore. It's nothing. Somebody told me the other day, oh, I have an account like that. It's in Sweden. And I'm like, Sweden? Like this is all stateside. These are 100-year-old companies that have paid dividends for 100 years, never ever had an account go backwards. So the big lie is, oh, the market just goes up and down. That's fine. It's coming back. You should never let your accounts go backwards. And then number two, tax-free is the way that we're going to protect ourselves from what the government's doing, meaning well or not, depending on where you land politically and all that stuff. But and then again, is this really trickling down? Is this really coming to the people who need it? And so again, I was reading an article that the Wall Street firms have all applied for it. They've applied to keep their employees at millions and millions and millions of dollars every year, but they have $1 trillion in the bank as an industry. So again, is the system working for real Americans? And those are my clients. My clients are real American people, real American families, and especially American women who want to escape situations like I had to do that day and basically start over. And so this is where my heart will be for the rest of my working career. And I'm so thrilled to have clients across the country and to be asked to be on programs like this.
All right. So what is your giveaway? What is your opt-in for people? And how do people
so we have several different things, but what I'd like to offer today, we just did a series of checklists, and I think that's so helpful for people right now. So we have a tax checklist, we have a retirement checklist, and we have a financial planning checklist. And they can just go straight to the website, which is the company name is lifestylewealthgroup.com. So just like it sounds, lifestylewealthgroup.com. And you can // checklist, or just go on the website. You'll find them right there. You can see them on the homepage, and just opt in for those. And it will help you to get organized, help you to be able to put things in order right now when maybe you are going to get busy in another couple months. Maybe now's a good time to do that. And I've just launched a program, Rhythm of Riches, which I'm super excited about. I just did my first group, and we're starting it again in May. And so I will be having more information on that. So if you want information, just drop me a note in there and just say, yeah, let me know when Rhythm of Riches is bubbling up again. It'll be the first week of May. And we talk about mindset. We talk about business. We explain all these financial concepts. And it was a fabulous rollout. And so I'm making a few tweaks, and we're gonna go for round 2. So we're really thrilled to be able to offer that.
That's just dynamite. Well, thank you, Cheryl. And you're right. If you are in a situation, and any time that you're having financial troubles, it just compounds whatever other troubles you're having.
Absolutely.
But if you are okay, right? If you've got some security and maybe you're not overwhelmed in debt, you've got some cash flow, all of that, then they're just problems. Like if the car needs tires, right? If you are financially strapped, it becomes, this huge big deal. If you have an illness, right, it becomes a huge big deal. Anytime that money just trickles into everything else. So Cheryl, I understand why your heart would be in that place. And what an incredible story, not just for you, for your daughters that day, but now for all the people that you've impacted.
And the thing, what I really realized out of it all is that my life mission, my sole purpose is to help people build, and especially women, build a rock solid financial foundation so that they can have and do and be everything they want to be in their lives. And so just to your point, Angela, you're right. If you don't have money and you got a flat tire, it's a big deal. If you do, you just go get it fixed. And well, once you can get the tire shop open again. But
all my good analogies are like not being good anymore.
But yes, it's so true. And so thank you for having me on today.
I love how both of these women took something negative and turned it into a complete positive and turned it into their life's purpose, right?
Mhm.
Both of them, right? And in like we all have a calling, and I think that, right, it's you can't truly know joy
Yeah.
unless you've experienced sadness.
Yeah.
Right. And it's when we've had that moment that, you know, that we climb the mountain so that we can show others that it can be climbed. But we can take everything broken, right, and find a good use for it and find the good inside of it. And so these are both very beautiful stories, Patti, very beautiful, Cheryl. All right, Miss Tina, what about you? What are you going to give away? What are you up to this week? Tell me your schedule.
Oh, oh my God. So completely booked last week from all these summits that I've been speaking on, just coaching clients and, you know, prospecting and stuff like that. But I am launching a new course called the Connection to Client Blueprint, helping you create connections, turn them into clients, and increase your cash flow. So what I'm giving away is the 7 steps to increase your cash flow. So if you text connection to 26786, connection to 26786, you're going to get your free guide to 7 steps to increase your cash flow. And also, I have a new website coming out. I have a new logo coming out. I have a book that I'm writing. I have a list of things that I'm doing.
She has the list of damn near everything, Patti.
Hey, don't be taking my seat.
I'll be the princess of damn near.
There you go.
And then tomorrow we have our Connect 2 Summit. So I'm so excited. We have 12 amazing speakers that are going to talk to you from self-care to pivoting your business to amazing speakers. And that's going to be from 4 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
Well, it's from so it's Eastern time, 4 till 9 p.m. is when we're bringing in all of our speakers. And then we're having a pajama cocktail party right after it from 9 till 10 p.m. So
they're going to have the Angel Teeny.
Do we have our own cocktail?
We have our own cocktail. We have our own TV show. We have our own mugs.
I know, right?
We're stepping up in the world.
We are stepping up. This Connect Summit it was the brainchild that came out when we were very first starting to get our events canceled, right? Our speaking events canceled. And so we were able to bring the very first one, 28 speakers in a 2-day live virtual summit 2 weeks ago. And it was the most fun. It's called Connect. It's live, it's interactive, it's super fun, it's super social, it's super connected. And then of course we end the day with our fabulous little pajama cocktail party. And so it's happening tomorrow night. There's an Eventbrite for it. And so you can sign up on Eventbrite. When you sign up on Eventbrite, you get a gift from every single one of the speakers. We have 12 speakers. It's over $6,000 in value.
Gifts from last Connect too, right?
That was like my secret sauce. So we have also in that virtual gift bag is over $20,000 in gifts from the speakers who were on our first Connect Virtual Summit.
And
so
those speakers were being so gracious. I mean, they were giving away everything, their books, their workbooks, their courses.
Retreats.
Yeah,
it was amazing. So you have to sign up on Eventbrite in order to get the virtual goodie bag. And then during the event, you'll get to go into the breakout rooms and hang out with the speakers and engage with us there. And so I don't know, we'll be able to put the Eventbrite link here on
look in the comments below. We'll post them.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, we are so excited because it's the second one. It was on, in demand so much. Yes. We are shortening it because
that's how the Angel and Tina Morning Show came about.
It did, right? People are like, you guys need to do something every day. So
tell them aren't you going to give away something today too?
I am giving away.
What am I giving away? What do I have here?
So of course, media exposure specialist, training you how to get more exposure from the comfort of your own home. How do you get booked on OPP, other people's platforms, sharing your story like Cheryl and Patti did here today. And exposure is the key to your business. So go and grab your complimentary exposure guide at makeyourbigimpact.com. Makeyourbigimpact.com. It's a 10-day transformation to just get that ball rolling, help you start to think, you know, what's my story? What's my publicity that I can get out into the world? And it has been, right, it has been so amazing. As everybody is shifting, wondering, worrying, and waiting, our clients are in front of the wave, making that impact. And so grab it at makeyourbigimpact.com. Join the Connect Summit tomorrow, which is going to be so much
fun. Join us here every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Angel and Tina Morning Show.
Who's our guest tomorrow?
A little sunshine to your morning. I forgot what our tagline was.
A bright start to your morning.
There you go.
We're gonna put the mugs out so that people can buy their Bright Start morning mugs. Who's our guest
tomorrow? We're still looking for somebody to do our little jingle. So if you know anybody who would like to create,
Patti, do you do music? Do you make morning jingles?
Oh, honey, you don't ever want to hear me sing. Never, never, never.
That is one thing she is not the queen of.
That's why she's
the one or not.
That's
house cleaning.
There's only one thing. Oh, singing and house cleaning. I know. I was telling my kids, I'm like, the house cleaners aren't coming. We're going to have to do chores.
It's been horrible. That's been the worst part of lockdown.
Right? Do they still get paid to do chores nowadays?
No. No. Shh. Don't tell them. Oh, yeah. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them. Okay, who's our guest tomorrow, Miss Tina? Do you know?
Oh, shoot. Let me look. Our guest tomorrow. Our favorite Michelle Dewsbury.
Oh, right.
We're doing our Unite Summit today. And Ron Nails, a good friend of mine. He lives in Seattle. He is part of the mastermind that I am part of. So another Rainmaker alumni.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So grab Cheryl's goodie at lifestylewealthgroup.com. Grab Patti's goodie at thequeenofdamneareverything.com. Grab Tina's by texting connection
to 26786.
And grab your complimentary media guide at makeyourbigimpact.com. Ladies,
thank you guys all for watching. And thank you guys to all of our amazing viewers who are tune into us every morning and listen to us while you're getting ready for the day, while you're cleaning the house, or while you're just laying in bed. So we will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.